Brenda Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live usually every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that I've been working on. I missed last week. Not sure if anybody noticed. It was the funniest thing. I was all ready. My son said, "Oh, could I get a ride to Morristown, the next town over?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll take you over." And I'm in the car and I look at the clock and it's after 5 o'clock. And I was like, I don't know what happened there, but family. So anyway, I'm back this week and I have a card for the holidays or maybe for not. But one thing that's exciting about it is that it uses a bundle that is now on the last chance list. So our last chance list has been updated. There are lots of discounts. And I'm going to show you what's going on with this one. Let's pop over to the desktop. So let's see. Okay, so what we have here is the branching out bundle. And this is the one I'm using. And you can see it doesn't really have anything that's specifically holiday. But, the fir type branches and pine cones do kind of give you the sense of the holidays. We've also got some berries here, but it's just a lovely set to have. And from our family to yours, I'm considering that kind of like a holiday thing, but everything else is these are just lovely sentiments, and I love the way that this builds some branches. And even better are the dies that come with it. So you can see we've got the sprig and we've got the pine cone. These are berries or a stem of berries, if you will, and some other berries down here. But these are the highlight of the dies, if you ask me. I couldn't wait to get these. I love how they're nested. I love how they're stitched. I love how they have the inverted rounded corner. So just so that you know, the dies are not on the last chance list. They are carrying over, so that's very exciting. But the stamp set is on the last chance list. So if you decide that you want both of these, make sure you purchase them separately, because the stamp set is on sale at a discount and the dies are full price. But if you combine them together, they come out to less than if you purchase the bundle as one. So just something to be aware of. And if you have questions on that, feel free to let me know and I will try to answer them. But that is something that we haven't quite resolved from a Stampin' Up! Standpoint. But so if you see something that is on the last chance list and it's a part of a bundle, you want to make sure that you purchase the items separately as opposed to together. Anyway, let's make a card. Okay, so we are going to start with a shaded spruce card base. This is a standard card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and we are folding it at 4 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and put a piece of white on the inside of the card. So, I like to do that because when we go to write on it, we like to have a nice light color. Oh dear. Okay, mine's a little dirty. I thought I must have just dipped in something. Got it near some ink. Not great, but I'll fix that later. Okay, you can see I have a piece of paper on top of my glass mat here because we're going to need that. First thing I did was I took a panel of basic white cardstock and I put it through the birchwood embossing folder, and this is what we got out. And I definitely think that this embossing folder goes perfectly with the branching out set. It all is part of the tree, right? So again, as I always do when something is textured like this, so gone through the embossing folder, I like to use wet glue so that it gets into those nooks and crannies and gives a better adhesion to the card front. So there we go. I like to give it a little rub so that make sure that it absorbs into the paper and makes that good connection. Okay, so next up, I took a piece of the early Espresso cardstock and I used one of the dies, one of the layer dies, so you can see that, whoops, the wrong one, the next size up. This is for the white. So for the brown, I used the second largest die, and I just put it on my cardstock, and I came up with that. So, magic of television, you know how that works. Why do you don't need to watch me cut that. And then I did the same thing with a piece of basic white cardstock and ended up with that. So that's how I cut out those layers. All right. So I'm going to take the white piece and I'm going to do some stamping. So first I'm going to stamp with the branch. So this branch is really big, and this is why I needed a piece of paper underneath here so that I could ink up my entire branch and then go to stamp it down. And it's going to go off the edge, and rather than have it go off the edge into my onto my glass mat, I'm going to go ahead and just let it go onto the paper. All right. So there we have our early espresso set of branches. And now next up, I'm going to grab where there are two different ones here. We have shaded Spruce ink pad, and we've got some sprigs, and this is to make the fur, spiky things on the tree. I really need a botanical lesson, but I'm using the smaller ones because when I go to line them up, I feel that they line up better to the different branches that we have going on here, and it provides a little bit more coverage. You can see that these are a little bit further apart, and that might work as well too, but I just wanted to point out I'm just using the small ones on this card. And you'll notice I left a little space here because I want to use my sentiment, and this is what I mentioned before, from our family to yours. And I'm going to also do this in the shaded spruce. You could do it in red, and that would look cool too. So here we go. We've got that. And now we can adhere this to the mat that we created before. I'm just going to use my regular stamp and seal for that. And I just think that looks so much better than if we did, straight rectangles or even circles. So very cool look. We're going to go ahead and add this to our card front using dimensionals. And you can use as many or as few as you want. I'm going to go for 5 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1 in the center. And we're going to add that to the card front. So super simple card, really. And it is really considered a 2-step stamping set because, we do the branches and then we do the sprigs. So that makes it fun and easy and really quick to duplicate. And then we have these really, really cool streaked dots. They are, look how they are. You can see the little streaks of gold that are in there. And I loved using these. I love that there are so many on the package. And I'm going to go ahead and use my usual 3. And let's see, I'm going to put a big one up here, and maybe a big one and a small one at the bottom. But we're not done yet because I forgot what I wanted to do. So we have that. But we said, okay, well, maybe we can just add a little bit more. And so what I did is I took the dies. This is the sprig, and then this is the pine cone. And I went ahead and die cut them out of, this is shaded spruce, and this is the early espresso. And I'm just going to adhere to this to the card, and it just gives it a little bit more depth. I'm not going to use dimensionals or anything on it. Just going to use my plain wet adhesive just in the larger parts, and just very, very little bits of it, right? Because a little goes a long way. A little dab will do you. And I'm just going to kind of put it on an angle so it looks, it's a different, it gives it a little bit more texture, a little bit of depth. And then I'm going to also take my little pine cone and give that a little bit of adhesive on the back. And I'm going to have this hang from one of the branches up here. So kind of keep it all together. I move that over, and there we have it. So you could choose to keep it flat, totally flat, or you could add these little extras. You could add more extras if you'd like, but I think this looks good just the way it is. So let me know in the comments what you think, and thank you for watching. Don't forget that if you like this bundle, make sure that you grab it now. I also noticed that the dies are on low inventory at the moment, so they'll probably go out of stock, but they will come back. But then you'll have to then you'll definitely be purchasing things separately. But you definitely want to try to grab the stamp set and the dies and put them in your cart separately as opposed to in a bundle, and you can save yourself quite a bit of money. So anyway, again, if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you the next time. Thank you. Bye.